During the summer of 2020, I applied for many jobs, all entry positions, and I didn't get a single interview. In fact, only one company directly notified me that I didn't get the job. All the others just ignored me. But since the end of the fall quarter, I've edited my resume template and started applying for jobs again. This time I really went for quality over quantity, and I've steadily reached the end of my LinkedIn job listings. Some of these listings ask for over 7 years of experience, but it also says that it could be supplemented with education. I'm sure that half a finished degree counts for something. So far, 2 companies have rejected me. I'm technically already doing better than last time. And actually, one of those companies was a pet insurance company. At the very end of the application, they asked me if there was something that I should tell them. I wrote, I'm actually allergic to all cats and some dogs. That probably didn't mesh well with their bring your pet to work policy, and they rejected me the next day. It's okay though. A lot of people just tell me to focus on graduate school. Sometimes I just feel really anxious, and nowadays nothing feels securable anymore. On my off time, I do some additional readings, or I work on my side project about predicting trends in anime searches that nobody cares about. But that's okay. I'm using all the stuff I learned in class, but at times, working on this just makes my anxiety worse. The only other thing I do regularly is polishing shoes. That might seem a little weird, but I really enjoy it. Even if I never go outside and my shoes are always clean. Actually, there is an entire community on YouTube dedicated to just polishing shoes. There seems to be a community for everything nowadays. In fact, there are annual competitions for it, and Yuya Hasegawa is the most famous winner. He started his own shoe polishing line called Brift H. It's pretty expensive to buy in the States, but one day I hope to try his cleaner and cream polish. I'm drawn to them because they took this practice that nobody thinks about and created a higher standard for what is considered polished. The end result is a perfectly even wax layer on the toes and sometimes the heel. The steps are pretty simple. Brush off the dust on the shoes. Wipe with cleaner conditioner to remove old wax. And a step that nobody talks about here is to let the conditioner dry completely. The solvent in the cleaner will make forming the wax layer in the future very difficult. It's a small detail, but small details make a big difference. You can wait for an hour or just completely forget about the shoes. That's what happened to me. I completely forgot I was cleaning the shoes. So the next day, I applied the cream polish. You can remove the laces as well to get better coverage, but that's just a small detail. Then brush it with a stiff brush. And lastly, we get to the most exciting part, the wax polish. This part is much more difficult than it seems, and the tools you use absolutely matter. The ideal cloth is cotton, does not stretch at all, and does not attract dust easily. Unfortunately, I do not have this type of cloth, but I have figured out a way to overcome this problem. Use your fingers directly to apply 4 to 5 layers of wax in small circles. Then tie the cloth as best as you can. There are some fancy ways to do this, but I can never figure out how to do it. Just make sure there are no wrinkles on your 2 fingers. Then apply a small amount of water on the cloth, and you could dry your cloth slightly by tapping on your other hand. Using fast circular motions, lightly smooth out the wax on the toes. Then this is where I stray from the normal method. If you have the correct cloth and have tied it using the fancy method, you can directly put the cloth in the wax and then put it on the shoe. However, in my experience, it creates wrinkles on the cloth and undoes the progress that I've already made on the shoe. So instead, I completely remove the cloth and apply the wax with my fingers like I did in the base layer. You can add 1 or 2 more layers, and then it's back to the cloth and water. And you can repeat this many times. When I first did this, I felt a lot of pressure to complete the mirror shine in one sitting. But actually, you could do 1 or 2 layers a day and come back to it until you're satisfied with the shine. Something I often think about is that even when the shine is complete, I can't really enjoy wearing the shoes. There are even some uneven spots of wax that you can't fix without starting over. But when the opportunity arises, I get to put on some nice clothing, wear my shoes, and walk to the lobby to pick up my groceries from Amazon. And you might catch a glimpse of your shoes and realize that in good lighting, they look really nice, and while standing up, you can't really notice any of the flaws. I felt really happy. I mastered the art of polishing shoes. Sign me up for next year's competition. To celebrate, I made some fish fried rice. And usually my fried rice tastes terrible, but this time it was really good. I had to replace the fish sauce with anchovies, but it worked out pretty nicely. I realized that maybe I've undersold some of the things I've done this year. I got into graduate school and moved to Washington. Last quarter, I filled in the working hours of 9 to 5 with studying for Security Plus, and I actually passed my test. Although nobody really cares about my side projects, I actually made a good amount of progress, and it helped me understand some of the confusing stuff from class last quarter. I'm glad I didn't drop the project like I have done in the past. I could worry about why I'm not employed now, but in reality, the only thing that I could do is prepare as best as I can. And so I will. Anyways, thank you for listening to me ramble, and have a nice rest of your day.